What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and for today I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys on the current uniform sale, because I see quite a few of you guys asking me to share my opinion as well as let you guys know which uniforms I'm going to be picking up this time around, because as you can see I have quite a few uniforms already. However, in my opinion, a lot of the uniforms that I own and a lot of the uniforms here that are still on sale are currently worthless, and you should not be spending your crystals on them because they're not going to do anything for the characters, and the characters are not going to be able to do anything in this game. So if you're like me and you don't like to waste crystals / money, hear me out, guys, because a lot of these uniforms, believe me, should just be being sold for gold, and that's it, because they're pure garbage. Okay, pure garbage. They're not doing absolutely anything, and it still disgusts me to this day that some of these characters are not getting reworked and the uniforms are still being pushed this heavily. Okay, but anyways, not a rant video. I'm gonna give you guys straight facts and tell you guys exactly how I feel, regardless of whether or not you guys agree with me or not. That is completely fine, but this is just my opinion. And right off the bat, we're gonna start with Ghost, the only uniform I didn't pick up from update 4.2, and the number one reason why I didn't pick this uniform up is because it doesn't change the core problem that I have with the character, which is not enough DPS. Ghost, in my opinion, is a leadership and a support character, and in this uniform he does become a better support character, as well as he gets some more versatility because he becomes a female. So he becomes better for Shadowland, and his support passive can now work with heroes, whereas with this build right here, you can only use his support passive once you get him to tier 2, obviously, with villains. Okay, so he becomes a better support type and he's a good leadership. However, the main problem I have with Ghost as a character is not enough DPS. And if you take a look at his 4th skill right here, there's no damage, similar to the base kit. Take a look at his 5th skill, you have basically no damage unless you are a millimeter away from the freaking enemy, and that is not something you want to do. Okay, because when it comes to the end game content in this game, especially World Boss Ultimate, you do not want to be super close to a world boss in any fight. Okay, because you're gonna get punished repeatedly and you will die. Okay, and this character doesn't have any native healing, so for me this uniform is just not worth it, because he's not a super tank, rather she's not a super tank. There's no healing, there's a couple iframes in there, the damage is just low, and all you're really paying for is a slightly better support passive. So can't justify 1,000 crystals for that. Next up is Wolverine. Now when it comes to Wolverine, in terms of aesthetics, this is the best looking uniform for him in most people's opinion. However, I still prefer the classic look. That's just me. However, between these two uniforms, I gotta say it, man, this uniform looks better, but this one is a lot more functional, simply because in this game there's several ways to keep yourself alive: heal, damage immunity, iframes, we got invincibility, a guard. Wolverine only has 2 iframes and healing, and in most cases that is enough. However, Wolverine is no longer unkillable. There was a time in this game where he was damn near close to it. However, the game evolved and there's lots of characters in the game that can one-shot this guy. So for me, in my opinion, getting some damage reduction on a character that doesn't have invincibility, damage immunity, or a ton of freaking iframes is a better deal than to get 10% more ignore defense, a stat that you can get from your obelisk, your comic card, your ISO set, or from your 4th gear slot, right? It's just a lot more functional to get the damage reduction over the ignore defense. However, if you can't stand looking at the fact that this guy has a stump for an arm, go ahead and do that. But personally, I've never ran into a Wolverine in this uniform that I couldn't kill. However, I've ran into several that was a real pain in the ass to deal with in this Age of Apocalypse uniform, hence why I have it at Mythic and why I will never buy this one. Okay, that's just my opinion there. When it comes to Ancient One, I would say skip this uniform. You don't really need it. I personally don't see myself picking it up. No skill changes, slight buff to your buffs and your debuffs, but you can live without that. Believe me, Ancient One is great without it. When it comes to Beast in this uniform, 2 skill changes, his leadership gets better, but the number one reason why I would even consider this uniform is because it makes him a villain, and Beast doesn't have very many uniforms or looks in the comics where he's ever a villain. So I've often considered picking this up, and let me know if you guys want me to pick this up and give you some gameplay with it. Black Bolt, this uniform right here is the best uniform for him. Gives him a damage proc as his uniform bonus, which is really, really good. However, this doesn't stack with your obelisk, so if you have this uniform, you're gonna need to run invincibility on your obelisk because it's gonna override it. Okay, I personally own this one. If I didn't own this one, I would buy this one. Okay, still don't really like the look of it personally. I'm hoping that Black Bolt gets a better uniform in the future. This one, don't buy it. Okay, I personally own this one. It's the best of the two. However, you can live without both of them because Black Cat is really not that good in this game. Black Widow, this is, if you're gonna look at the 750 uniforms between this one and this one, this is the better one. However, skip all three of these and pick up this one. It's the only way to play Black Widow. Now, when it comes to Captain America, ideally, I would tell you guys skip all three of these and get this one right here because it is the best Captain America uniform in the game. However, if you don't have 1,000 crystals to spend, this is a really close second. Super freaking tanky, but if you want a high amount of DPS and really, really good survivability, this is the go-to, okay? That's why I have it at Mythic. If this wasn't in the game, this would be the one that I would pick up, definitely. It's an amazing uniform, definitely worth the crystals. This one is pure garbage. Skip it. Does nothing for the character. Next uniform right here is actually Crystal, one of the two uniforms that I'm actually considering this time around, and that's because it gives her some more crowd control on this skill right here. But I especially love this skill right here, man, the fire and the water tornadoes. Absolutely love that. I love that animation. I think it looks freaking awesome, and Crystal is already a good character, so you don't need this uniform. I personally just love that tornado, so I want to buy it for that reason, and definitely she's gonna have more DPS as well. Cyclops, similar to Beast, I would say this uniform is probably a little bit better since it's a premium uniform, so higher stats. However, this one has more utility because it makes Cyclops a villain, okay? Makes him a villain, and Cyclops doesn't have that many uniforms in the comics where he is a super villain, okay? Really good for Shadowlands, so I would say these two uniforms are actually really good situational uniforms, and one that eventually I will pick up, probably because of the fact that it makes them super villains. So yeah. Next one, Daredevil, skip both of these. Don't buy that, waste of money. Drax, waste of money. Elektra, honestly, it's a good uniform if you're a super diehard Elektra fan and you want to get the most out of her. This is not a waste of money. However, the base kit can do everything that you can do in this uniform unless you have it at Mythic to give you some additional stats. That's just my opinion, okay? Moving forward, we have Elsa, and this is definitely her best uniform, and if I didn't already own the Secret Wars one, I would have picked it up because of all the skill changes and all that it does for her. She's a lot more fluid and smooth to play, and the cost is exactly the same. It's just that I personally don't use Elsa as much as I used to use her, so I just didn't feel like picking it up, okay? But it's a definite, for me, it's a good uniform. This one, skip it. Don't buy it. If you're gonna buy anything, buy this one. This uniform I potentially will get to Mythic because it's a good uniform. If you like Vulture, you will like Falcon in that uniform. This uniform, pure garbage. Gamora, still the worst character in the game. If you want to throw your money in the garbage, if you want to use a few dollars to wipe your ass, go ahead and pick up any of Gamora's uniforms, okay? That's how I feel about it. Absolutely disgusted with the way that Netmarble has treated this character in the game. Ghost Rider, both of these uniforms you can skip. However, if you like Ghost Rider, this one right here, the one I own, is actually the only way to play the character. That's just my opinion though. This uniform right here, go ahead and skip it. 6 skill changes, makes him tankier, but survivability without damage. You guys already know what I'm gonna say, right? I'm gonna say it again in case you're new to the channel. Survivability without damage means absolutely nothing in Marvel Future Fight, and that's exactly what you're paying for with this uniform. Absolutely nothing. Moving on. Gwen Pool. I love pools, okay? I'm a Deadpool fanatic. I absolutely love Deadpool, and in most cases I would buy this simply because she's a pool. However, you don't need this, okay? Base Gwen Pool can do anything that this Gwen Pool can do. Sure, you're gonna have a little bit better healing, but that's all you're really paying for. $750. If it's worth it for you, go ahead, but you can live without it. Hawkeye, pure garbage. Pure garbage. Hurts me to say it, but Hawkeye is still garbage. Maybe when we see Avengers 4, that will change, but no. As of right now, Hawkeye is a miss, okay? A definite miss. This uniform right here, I would say skip it. Don't buy this one either. Go ahead and pick this one up. It's the only way to play Iron Fist in the game. Iron Fist has excellent DPS, but absolutely no survivability in the base kit. And if you want to get that survivability, this is the uniform for you, okay? Moving on, we have Iron Man. If you want a 750 uniform that is actually making Iron Man playable, go ahead and pick this one up. Skip these two. I currently own them, but I'm going to tell you guys they're pure trash. The free one that you get for gold is pure trash. This one is slightly better, but still pure trash. This one is playable, but if you want Iron Man and you want everything that he is with the DPS and all, this is truly the only way to play the character and have fun with him in every game mode. As you can see, I currently have it at legendary. All right, Karnak. Definite miss, okay? Definite miss. Skip this uniform altogether unless you want to use a couple dollars to wipe your ass. That's just my opinion. Next one on this list right here, we have Kid Kaiju. It's a decent uniform, makes his summon stronger, makes him stronger. It's an okay uniform for an okay character. And being okay for a premium is never good, okay? It's just okay. Anyways, moving on, we have the Trash Man Lash. Skip this uniform, skip this character. He's basically Gamora's husband at the bottom, holding her and sharing her with Hulkling. Next on this list is actually Luke Cage. I currently own this uniform. It's a so-so uniform, but this one is significantly better, and eventually I may pick it up. If you guys want me to pick up this Luke Cage uniform, let me know. I was really hoping for a Season 2 Luke Cage uniform, but I don't think we're going to see one at this point. Skip all of the Modok's uniform, okay? Modok is still the GOAT of Marvel Future Fight, the pun of every joke, similar to Gamora, Hulkling, Lash, and yeah. Skip them altogether. We have Mockingbird, both uniforms, pure garbage. Skip those. Skip this Baron Mordo uniform. Believe it or not, Baron Mordo in this game is actually one of the only characters whose base kit is better than a freaking uniform, okay? That's where that stands. Skip the uniform. Only buy the uniform if you're trying to burn a few dollars and waste your time. Nebula's uniform, you can live without. Makes her slightly better, but better than nothing is still just better than nothing. That's just my opinion. Skip it all together. This uniform right here increases the defense of all allies, okay? If you want more defense, go ahead and pick it up. Personally, I don't see myself picking this up unless it gets sold for gold, because Phil Coulson as a character is pure trash. Pure trash. His tier 2 passive is phenomenal, one of the best tier 2 passives in the game, making him one of the best support types, if not the best support type, especially since he's free to play in the game. But you don't need a uniform for him to do everything that you can currently do with this, okay? Skip the uniform in my opinion, not buying it unless it's gold. Punisher's uniform, skip all of these, okay? If you only have 750, pick this up. You can get something out of him better than what you can get with the base kit, because the base kit is pure trash. But if you want a true Punisher, a true freaking Punisher, go ahead and pick this up. As you can see, I have it at legendary. It's definitely an amazing uniform for the character. Skip Quake, she's pure trash. Skip this Rocket Raccoon uniform. Both of these actually. Get this one right here. I still have it at normal, but I'm going to get it to Mythic. It's amazing. Makes Rocket truly amazing. Rogue is okay. Makes her slightly tankier. I may pick this up since it's required for a few of my favorite uniforms in the game in terms of bonus stats. I may pick it up for that reason alone, but yeah, it's not really worth the money in my opinion by itself. Definitely need a better looking uniform for Rogue, okay? Sorry, sugar, it's just not cutting it. Now, when it comes to Sif, this is the one uniform I am for sure going to pick up. Actually, I'll pick it up right now because a lot of you guys actually said you wanted me to pick this up, okay? And you already seen the #1 reason why I was going to pick it up, right? For Thor. Anyways, it makes the character playable. Sif, pure trash without this uniform. No survivability, basically no damage. However, in this uniform, she has some survivability in the form of iframes, which she doesn't have natively, and some damage immunity as well. So Gonna use that uniform, and I'll give you guys some gameplay with it real soon. Okay, where were we? We're down here with Gwen Stacy. This is a decent uniform, a couple skill changes, some additional DPS. It's a decent uniform for 750. I personally would say skip Squirrel Girl. You're not gonna get too much out of that uniform. Skip both of these unless you only have 750. This one is the best of the two. I personally own it. I think this is better looking, so a lot of people may pick this up if they're new to the game and don't know better, but skip it. It's not that good. Pick this one up instead if you only have 750. If you have that 1,000 crystals to spend, go ahead and pick this up. Make Star-Lord truly a beast. Next one is War Machine. Skip all of these. Every single one of them. Even if you only have 750, you're better off saving that 750. Go ahead, pick up this one at the top right here, which I have a legendary, because it makes this guy a war machine. Definitely will kill the majority of the game's content for you. Skip both of these uniforms for the Wasp, and it hurts me to say that because I love the Wasp, but skip both of these. Both of these are pure trash, and it makes me really mad. Now, when it comes to this guy right here, skip both of these, even if you have 750. Go ahead and pick this one up. As you can see, I have it at Mythic. It's one of the best uniforms in this freaking game. Takes this guy from being an absolute 0, probably a negative, to being a 10 out of 10 in basically every game mode. Skip Wong. Wong is trash. Skip Agent 13. She's trash. Angela, skip Angela completely. Skip both of these Ant-Man uniforms. Pick up this one. That's the only way to play Ant-Man and enjoy playing him. We already spoke about Black Bolt. We already spoke about Black Cat. Black Panther, this is the only uniform you should have for him. He's great in that. Now, moving on from Black Panther, there's quite a few uniforms that you guys are going to see either sitting at Mythic or Legendary. And those uniforms, in my opinion, for me at the very least, are must-buy uniforms. They are truly phenomenal for these characters, okay? After Black Panther, however, I would say definitely skip Blade. This is a definite no for me. One of the worst uniforms I've ever bought. I regret it to this day. Absolutely disgusted with the performance of this uniform. Do not buy it, okay? Bullseye, skip Bullseye, even though he's getting 3 skill changes and 50% ignore dodge from his freaking uniform bonus. It's still a trash uniform. Moving downwards, we have Sharon Rogers. Obviously, Sharon Rogers is an amazing character even without a uniform, but if you can get yourself 750, this should be one of the first uniforms you buy because it's a great uniform. When it comes to Captain Marvel, to be honest, the difference between the base kit and this uniform right here is negligible. You don't even need it. You're getting basically one additional iframe, not even a full iframe, a slight iframe. That's basically all you're getting, and some slight increase to your stats. That's it. You don't need the uniform. This one right here, you cannot buy ever, I don't think, because to be honest with you guys, the amount of money that you had to invest in the game at the very beginning to pick up this uniform, if Netmarble ever brought it back, some of the people who've been playing this game for 3 years would be super upset, because at one point you literally had to spend, I believe, about $500 to about $700 to get everything you needed to get this uniform. And as you can see, it's 0 skill changes, right? So you basically spent all that money for nothing if you were playing Marvel Future Fight in the very beginning of this game. As you guys can see, I have Corvus. His uniform basically can be Mythic whenever I feel like it. It is truly a phenomenal uniform. To be honest, when it comes to the Children of Thanos, this is the best uniform for me personally, okay? I think he's the best member of the Black Order, like he's always been. Some people will debate that because they like Ebony more, but I personally think that Corvus is superior. If you like Ragnarok Hulk, you should definitely go ahead and pick up Cull Obsidian, because he's basically the universal villain version of Ragnarok Hulk. Skip Daisy, skip Daredevil, skip Deathlock, because all 3 of these characters are absolute trash. And if you spend the $750 to pick up all 3 of those uniforms, just best believe you just spent a whole bunch of money to get absolutely nothing back, okay? It's like you walked in the store, paid the clerk, and just walked out and took nothing. That's exactly what you're doing with your money right there, okay? Daisy's playable, but definitely a character that you can live without in the state of the game right now. When it comes to Destroyer, this uniform gives him some additional stats, and Destroyer is a pretty decent, to be honest, PvP character. But if you don't care about timeline and countering some of the meta characters like Jean Grey, which Destroyer can do, you don't need this uniform. I would say definitely skip Superior Spider-Man, because the Dr. Octopus that we now have after his recent rework is actually superior to this uniform. I no longer use this uniform, and I don't think I ever will. Once upon a time, this uniform was the only play to play the good old Doctor, but the Doctor got fix, then the Doctor is actually good enough, actually far better than the Superior Spider-Man uniform. When it comes to Doctor Strange, if you have 750 and you can pick this uniform up, definitely do so. It's significantly better than the base, both aesthetically and practically, because you're getting the reflect and the heal, which makes Doctor Strange truly phenomenal. This uniform gives him some additional DPS, but he's not as smooth to play in my opinion. After Doctor Strange, we got Ebony Maw, and Ebony Maw is actually a pretty damn good character right now, so I should eventually get this to Mythic. I'm just slacking on it, and to be honest, because of the mind control skill, this is a must-buy uniform for me. Love that mind control, and when he doesn't get dodged, it is pretty damn hard to deal with. Next up is Killmonger, and when it comes to Killmonger, simply by getting this uniform to Mythic and having the Black Panther Extreme package, you can get yourself a guaranteed CTP of energy, and that is the #1 reason why I have this uniform at Mythic. So if you don't care about getting a CTP of energy, you can skip this uniform altogether. No, you do not need to own the character to get the CTP. All you need to do is buy the uniform, have the Black Panther Extreme package, and use some tickets to go ahead and get this uniform to Mythic. That's how I did it, even though after that I decided to pick up the character to get some use out of the uniform. Like I told you guys before, don't pick up any of these Falcon uniforms. I currently have this uniform at Mythic because, similar to Killmonger, getting this thing to Mythic actually gives you a CTP. However, this time it's a CTP selector where you can pick whatever CTP you want. I highly recommend the CTP of Destruction because it's one of the rarest CTPs in the game. Do not pick up this Goliath uniform. It's pure trash in my opinion. It's outdated and it doesn't really do too much for the character. When it comes to Groot, honestly, skip the Teenage 420 Blaze It Groot because, to be honest, all this thing is good for is wasting your crystals. If you want something that's practical and that's cheap, go ahead and pick up Baby Groot because Baby Groot is legit. Definitely a good character to have in your roster. Pretty good for Shadowland, pretty good for Conquest, and overall worth it for 750 crystals. And after Groot, you guys can see right here, I have my Hela's uniform at Mythic because of the fact that if you get this uniform to Mythic, you actually guarantee yourself a CTP of energy. And 750 crystals for, one, being able to play Hela and enjoy playing her because she actually becomes playable and actually a pretty solid character in this uniform. But on top of that, you get yourself a CTP of energy from a cinematic battle / legendary battle that you don't have to initially pay crystals to purchase. Okay, so definitely worth it. 750 to make the character useful and get yourself a guaranteed CTP of energy. Win, win, win. Okay, that's just my opinion. Then we got Ragnarok Hulk. I got this uniform to Mythic, one, because Hulk is great in it. It's the only way to play the Hulk. These two uniforms are not Hulks. I don't know what the hell they are. Actually, I know what they are. They're a waste of money, okay? Don't buy these. They're both trash. Pick up this one. Get it to Mythic, get yourself a CTP of refinement, and enjoy yourself playing with the Hulk. Amadeus Cho's uniform is not really that great, but it makes him slightly better than the base kit. When it comes to Hulkbuster, this is the only Hulkbuster uniform worth picking up. This one is kind of decent, but kind of decent for 750. We were long past that, okay? We want good or better, and this is great. So I'm definitely gonna get this thing to Mythic. Definitely highly recommend you pick up this uniform right here for Inferno if you like Inferno, because the base kit has really good DPS. I dare say at tier 1 he's better than most tier 2 characters in terms of DPS. However, he has no survivability. This uniform right here gives him a heal, couple iframes, and on top of that actually gives him one long iframe, and it gives him longer damage immunity. So overall, very solid character. We already touched on Iron Fist and we already touched on Iron Man. Next up is Loki, who I have at Mythic, but both Loki uniforms are good. So if you only have 750, go ahead and pick this one up. You can use him more in Shadowland because he can be used on female floors, whereas this one can only be used on male floors. But this one right here is supercharged Loki. Definitely an amazing uniform, and by getting it to Mythic, you get yourself a premium comic card. Okay, moving down the list right here, we're gonna skip over Luke Cage, we're gonna skip over Malekith, We're gonna even skip over Moon Knight. Yeah, we're gonna skip over Kamala Khan, and we're gonna touch on my baby Proxima. Definitely an amazing uniform. 5 iframes, great damage, very fun to play. Red Hulk is pretty solid as well with the heal and the damage immunity. Pretty decent Shadowland character. So if you like the Red Hulk and you want to get something out of him for $750, that's not a bad price in my opinion. Tano is pretty solid. Any uniform, like I said, that you see me have at Legendary or Mythic is amazing. Scarlet Witch, one of the best characters in the game, and I'm slacking on this. I can get this thing to Mythic anytime I feel like it. So yeah, anything you see with a full bar that's just chilling at Legendary is just me waiting to get that thing to Mythic. Just don't want to spend all my resources in one go, right? And you guys already know, I told you guys that I was going to pick up Sif because I see a lot of you guys spamming Sif in the comment section of my last video. Then we got Silk. I really like the look of this uniform, but it's pretty functional as well, especially for $750. Then we got Spider-Man. We actually have 3 useful Spider-Man uniforms. However, for $750, this is the one you should go for. And if you want to spend a little bit more to get a little bit more out of Spidey, go ahead and pick up the Infinity War uniform for him. Now, when it comes to Thanos, both uniforms are great. Both uniforms cost the same. However, if you want to get the one that gives you the most amount of DPS, definitely go ahead and pick up the Infinity War uniform. Now, moving on from Thanos, we have a Mythic Thor uniform and a Legendary Thor uniform. So let's touch on that. Both these Thor uniforms right here, don't ever buy them, okay? This one, I believe, is being sold for gold. So if you don't have any crystals, it's better than the base kit. But the base kit offers you basically nothing, okay? Thor's base kit is basically unusable. If you want to go from this to something, this is the one for you. And if you get it to Mythic, then you'll get yourself a premium comic card, one of the best comic cards in the game. However, if you want everything that you can get out of Thor in terms of raw DPS and survivability, this is the one you should be getting. The premium comic card, in my opinion, makes this uniform still a very, very good purchase. However, if you don't care about comic cards and you just want to smash face and bring the pain to people, this is the uniform, and I'm gonna get that thing to Mythic ASAP. Moving on from Thor, skip this Venom uniform right here. It absolutely does nothing for the character. Straight useless. I think it looks amazing though. That's the main reason why I picked it up back in the day before I knew better. But I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I know better so that you guys can do better. Don't pick this up. Pick up this one. Great striker, very, very good character. Takes him from being 0 to literally a hero, because he's a hero in this and you can use him in more Shadowland stages, okay? Moving on from Venom, we have this uniform right here for Vulture. Uniform is not really required. Vulture is great without it, but it makes him a freaking monster with it. Moving on from Vulture, we have Yellow Jacket, who, to be honest, similar to Vulture, Yellow Jacket is a good character without his uniform, so you don't need to buy it. However, if you want a little bit more AoE and a little bit more damage overall, it's a decent purchase. However, you probably don't need to buy this uniform anymore because Yellow Jacket is not a super meta-defining character anymore. Moving on from Yellow Jacket, we have Yondu. Yondu is actually pretty damn solid in this uniform. I dare say better than Yellow Jacket in my opinion, overall survivability and damage considered, okay? Don't pick up this one because for $750, in my opinion, it's not worth it. If I could get my money back right now, I would take it back. The base kit for Yondu is unusable, and this uniform up at the top right here takes him from being 0 to hero. That's just my opinion. So I know this one was a bit long, guys, but I just wanted to give you my opinion on all the uniforms that I currently own. And I wanted to wrap this up by asking you guys, which of these uniforms right here that's currently on sale do you guys want me to pick up and bring you guys some gameplay with? Because I'm currently considering freaking, what's her name? Crystal, and potentially either Cyclops or Beast, okay? But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope it was informative, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace and love. And I'm gone.